Okay, so if you are watching this video, it means you've expressed interest in listening to me talk about my journaling practice and my workflow. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time here talking through how I do it, the tools that I use, the kind of prompts that I use, that sort of thing. So maybe just a bit of background. Over the last year, my journaling habit has been the strongest it's ever been. And I think that's because of this system that I put in place, and I call it Charlie's journaling practice. I've never really been one to journal over my life. I've heard about the benefits over and over again, but I've never really kind of dug into it. And as I've been doing it over the last year, year and a half now, I can definitely say that journaling has made my life better. And this system has made it easier for me to journal on a more consistent basis to get the different thoughts out of my head, organize them, learn about myself, which I think is a net positive for me as a human. Um, so I want to kind of start with talking about why this system exists. And so I ran into some challenges. So number one, I absolutely hate my handwriting. Writing into a notebook is my literal nightmare. If you ask me to stand in front of a whiteboard and write my name, I'll literally kind of like burst into sweats. My handwriting is so bad. It was bad when I was a kid. I think with as computers have kind of like taken over the world, I don't spend a lot of time handwriting anymore. And so yeah, that's kind of a big thing for me is I just hate handwriting. I wish I could be one of those trendy people with a journal and a nice pen and write away in a coffee shop, but that's just not me. And writing into a digital notes app isn't any better. I kind of hate the idea of staring at a blank page with a cursor just kind of pulsing there. Another thing that I noticed is while I write, I tend to edit as I write. And so what I want to be able to do is actually just dump my brain out in an unstructured way. So that was another challenge is like, if I sit down and write or sit down and type, I usually get writer's block or I'll start to write something and I'm like, it's not quite right. And so that was a challenge that I found myself is like, how can I just get it so that I have a steady stream of consciousness coming out of my head? Um, Another challenge I ran into is I noticed that my best thinking and ideas come when I walk. Some people have them in the shower, some people have them when they're sleeping. For me, it's when I pace and when I walk. So I do a lot of walking. I usually go for at minimum one, usually two walks a day, 5K each. And it's pretty difficult to write in a notebook as you're walking or typing away. And so yeah, that was another challenge that I ran into. And then I know that if I wrote in a notebook, while that would get the ideas or things out of my head, I likely wouldn't do anything with it. And some people would argue that's okay, like, hey, you got them out of your head. But I would question that as to like, how am I going to be able to revisit these things? Which makes me kind of question like, why would I even write in the notebook in the first place if I'm not going to like re-reference it or do anything with it? So those are kind of like all the things that were swirling around in my head when I was thinking about needing to build a system like this. And so the goal kind of behind this system was make it easy for me to get the thoughts out of my head into a single place while walking. I think that was a big one, so I had to be walking. Make it easy for me to organize all of these like messy thoughts into something more cohesive. And then I wanted something that was easy to revisit on an ongoing basis so I could learn more about myself over time, revisit different ideas, that sort of thing. And so I kind of developed this system. And so I'm going to just share my screen and I'll kind of walk you through how it works. So I've done this kind of pretty awful graphic. But basically, here's how it works. So I use a tool called Reflect. It's my second brain. If you've watched my reading practice or my podcast practice video, which are linked in the description below, you'll be able to see kind of how I use Reflect. I also funnel all of my journaling into there. And I think that's really important is having this single source of truth. So whether it's my journaling, my notes for my work, the things that I'm reading, the things that I'm listening to, all of that is going into one place. And I think that's super, super powerful. So how I actually do it is on my phone. So I have my phone and AirPods, and I go for a walk every single morning. I record a voice memo in the Reflect app, and I'm actually going to show you this as an example. I'll share my screen on my phone and show you actually how I do this. I'll walk you through the whole process. That voice memo is then transcribed via OpenAI's Whisper, so it's like basically human level accuracy. And then once that is in Reflect, into my second brain, I clean up and kind of organize that via a prompt. And so, yeah, I basically think that this system works really well because when I go out, you know, in the morning and I go for a walk, I put my AirPods in, and I'm walking along, I'm talking to myself, but most people would be like, oh, that guy's just like walking along on a phone call. So I actually kind of like how it's like stealth mode journaling, and I can do it kind of while I'm moving. So I'm going to share my iPhone screen now and basically show you how this works in real life. So if I just share my screen here, I'm going to, oh, I just gotta click allow. Okay, so here's my iPhone screen. Maybe I should record a video at some point on how this works. Big widget guy, so I have my calendar widget up top, and then I have a weather widget, and then you can see my reading apps are there, Reader and Readwise. I use Strava because I track all my walks like a dork, and Snipped is my podcast app. And then in the bottom here, I use custom icons. I have phone, iMessage, and then this third one with the kind of pencil looking thing, that's Reflect. And then this tick box is a shortcut that I've made to record to-dos. And I'm going to be recording a separate video about how I manage all my tasks. So in the bottom here, I'm going to click open into Reflect. And so this is kind of what it looks like. And so I'm actually recording this on Tuesday night. So I've actually just kind of wiped this clean so that you can see what it actually looks like. And I'll just kind of open, oops. I'll just open this up. Cool. So when I open my notes each morning, this is what it looks like. And I basically have these kind of habits, and this is kind of like my habit tracker for the day. So I have my morning pages, which is kind of like my journaling. I have 60-minute walk because I want to go for at least one walk. 60 minutes is usually 5K. I want to finish my Readwise highlights. So again, if you don't know what Readwise highlights are, check out my reading practice video below. And then I want to make sure that my calendar is at the end of the day, I actually review and update my calendar so that I can look back and be like, what did I accomplish today? And I think that's really cool to be able to look back after periods of time to be like, what did I do last week? What did I do over the weekend? So I'll minimize that for now. So yeah, in my morning pages, I wear an Oura sleep ring. And so what I do is I manually just take the sleep score and the readiness score and put them in here so that I can just see how that's trending over time. What I would love in the future is if there was a way for Oura to automatically send this stuff in here. I've gone on some forums to see if that could happen. You know, it maybe could, but it's a pain in the butt and I'm not that technical. So these are the questions that I ask myself every day. How was your day yesterday? What did you do? And so this is me kind of dumping out like exactly what I did yesterday, what I do. What am I excited and grateful for and why? What am I stressed about and why? How could I reframe what I just said I'm stressed about? What am I avoiding and why? What one thing do I need to do today? And what kind of person do I want to be today? So these are pretty standard questions. I do these every single day. I find it's a good kind of variety. I'll maybe change them up, you know, once a quarter. What I would love to do is if there was a way to have these like randomize every single day, that would be amazing. Haven't figured out a way to do that. So yeah, in the bottom, in the middle, you can see that kind of big record button. And so what I'm going to do is I'll just record a voice memo and show you what it actually looks like. So I'll hit record. And so how was my day yesterday? My day yesterday was really nice. I worked a whole bunch on stuff for Right Metric. I did a bunch of reading. I was able to go for a walk with Erica. And yeah, overall, I would say my day was good. I looked up and did some research about Christmas gifts for some people that I have to buy Christmas gifts for. So that was really fun. What am I excited or grateful for and why? I am grateful to be able to record this video for my friends and acquaintances who probably think I'm crazy for using these productivity systems. What am I stressed about? I'm stressed that my friends and family think I'm going to be crazy for recording one of these videos. But a way that I could reframe what I just said that I'm stressed about is hopefully someone will find these useful and they'll get a lot of value out of them. One thing I've been avoiding is getting some organization in my office going for some books on my shelf. My bookshelf behind me looks kind of messy and I need to reorganize that. And then one thing I need to do today is finish recording my digital journaling video. And the type of person I want to be today is helpful to my friends by recording this video. And I also want to be a good citizen who spends a lot of time reading. Okay, so record that audio memo, pretty straightforward, and it'll say uploading. And depending on the time, so depending on how long the audio memo, sometimes it takes anywhere from like 30 seconds to 2 minutes. But how this actually works, as I'm walking along in the morning, I'll do that. I'll stop the recording, and then I'll continue on, and I'll actually leave it. And so, I'll probably, just for the sake of this video, let's see how long this takes. It should appear pretty quickly here, but usually what happens is the recording will appear in here. You can see, right? So there is the recording that I've just taken, and it's okay. It does some formatting and it's kind of messy. And then what I'll usually do is I will close the app and continue on with my day. And maybe, I'll go to a podcast and listen to a podcast. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my desktop screen, because what happens is when I'm done actually recording while I'm walking, when I get home, I'll usually sit down, and I can either do this on an iPad or my computer. And so what I will do is I'll just quickly share my screen again. And cool. So now we're in here, and you can see here's this audio memo. And same type of thing. Here's the habits, my health score, right? So it updates across devices. And this is what's really cool. So what I will do is I'll highlight this, and what I usually do is I'll delete these questions out of here, and you'll see why in a second. Delete those questions, and then I'll highlight this, and I'll go Command J, and I have something already written I have a custom prompt for morning pages. So when I hit enter, it's going to take this transcription, and then it is automatically going to reformat it and backlink a couple things here. So I'll let this finish. You can see it kind of chugging away. So I will just let this finish. And so it's just adding some formatting to it. So I wrote one of these. It'll kind of churn away. I'll click replace. And you can see now it's kind of organized all nicely. I'll copy this. And then I kind of delete all this like morning pages audio memo stuff, and then I'll paste it. And then I'll add in like my numbers. Let's say I got a 79 sleep score, and my readiness is, I don't know, 78. I'll collapse that. And then what I'll do is I'll be like, okay, I'm done my morning pages, and I've usually done this on a 60-minute walk. And then off I go about my day. So that's basically how the process works. Is I am recording stuff with my phone. It's automatically getting transcribed. I'm bringing it into Reflect. I'm cleaning it up in Reflect using this AI prompt. And then maybe there might be things that I take action out of there. So, hey, maybe there was something as I was walking that I remembered, and I was like, yeah, I got to do that. But yeah, that's basically the process. And I think, again, the real power of this is it's completely frictionless, for me at least. Like, I just talk, and I kind of have a steady stream of consciousness coming out of my brain. And I don't have to worry about like, this is going to be a pain in the butt to clean up later. And then I think the big thing is also being able to have it all go into Reflect, where all the stuff is that I'm reading and consuming. And I'm actually going to record another video down the line that shows how what I'm reading and how what I'm journaling about come together when I search for it. So yeah, I'll eventually record a video like that. But I think, yeah, why I'm excited about this process is this is the first time that journaling has really felt effortless to me. And I think I'm doing it in a way where there'll be more utility in the future. So, I'm not just like writing in a notebook and a notebook is going on a shelf behind me. I'm putting it into somewhere that, I can access across all my devices. I can access it offline if I need to. So I think that is kind of like motivating me to do more of it. Number two, with the advancements that we're seeing in AI, I just think there's going to be some really interesting things that we're going to be able to do by querying and talking to your journal. So, instead of going on to ChatGPT, I think being able to go into my notes app and go, how have I been feeling over the last year? What's something that I'm proud of? What's something that I don't really realize about myself that I'm moving towards or I'm learning? And so I think like this is something that is fascinating. Like being able to query your brain and uncover different insights that might be hiding in plain sight about you and your thoughts and your feelings. I just think that's really, really fascinating. And then I think the third thing is being able to connect my thoughts and feelings with what I'm reading and consuming is super valuable because it takes all this information that I'm consuming and contextualizes it with my life. And so I think it allows things to be more specific to me, my life, my projects, my goals, and it will allow me to make different connections between various topics, ideas that I may not have done myself. And so, yeah, the system may seem overwhelming for some people, but it's a system that works for me. It can be a little annoying to set up in the beginning with kind of those prompts and that sort of thing, but once it's kind of set up, it's very easy to use and it's becoming more and more valuable by the day. I find that like as I'm adding more and more stuff in there, it's just getting more and more valuable. I also think this practice has motivated me to be more consistent with journaling, recording how I'm feeling, and getting out for more walks, which is awesome because I know that I'm building kind of a library of my thoughts and feelings along with the knowledge that I'm consuming that I can use in the future. And again, I think this rapid progression of AI has me more excited because I think it'll just enable me to better understand myself, link different ideas together, and so much more. And so, yeah, just wanted to hop on here and record this quick video. And yeah, if you have any questions, I'm going to include some more links in the comments below. Otherwise, happy journaling.